What's going on YouTube, and in this video I want to talk about why I would never cut the credit cards, and even worse close the credit accounts, and why probably you shouldn't do it either. Okay, now before I jump to this video, just a quick disclaimer. This video is not a financial advice. I'm just simply sharing my personal opinion and experience. Your personal debt and finances are solely your responsibility, and therefore I cannot be responsible for the decisions you make. Okay, let's go back to the video. I personally use credit cards pretty much all the time for majority of our purchases, and to be honest, mostly I see benefit of using these cards. However, I think this needs to be said. There is huge difference between using the credit cards responsibly and paying the statement in full every single month, and keeping the balance on the credit cards, which is of course huge no-no, and you don't want to pay the interest on the credit cards, and that's why I would always encourage you to pay the statement balance in full. Now, if you are actually struggling with the credit cards, maybe you cannot pay them in full, and overall you keep spending pretty much more money than you should, then perhaps I could see the logic behind why you would want to cut the credit cards. But actually wait, before you do that, wouldn't this be a better idea to actually learn good credit card habits and pretty much become credit card person? Now of course this would take some time, some responsibility, and pretty much you would have to do this adjustment to become this new you, if you will, but it's definitely worth it though, because if you do it the right way, the credit cards can only benefit you and actually have positive impact on your finances. Look, even starting from the basics, you can build the credit faster, and sure, technically if you cut the credit cards off with the scissors and you don't close the accounts, that's still on your credit report, and sure, these accounts are open. However, if you're not gonna use the credit cards, then the banks won't increase your limit on the credit cards, and that of course will have negative impact on your credit. Another, and I think this is a huge benefit of credit cards, and that's the flexibility of payment. Sure, like I've mentioned before, you wanna pay the statement balance in full all the time. However, let's say you wanted to buy something for a long time and you see it in the store at very discounted price, but now you don't have any credit cards with you, and if your balance, for example, on the checking account is lower than the item you're about to purchase, then right there you would miss that opportunity to save the money. Now here is another situation to think about. Let's say you have a house emergency and your heater breaks off, or the transmission in your car, or even electric battery fails. Of course, it's always a good idea to have cash emergency fund, but actually not a lot of people have over $1,000 or $2,000 on that account, and that's why having the credit card in your wallet could be pretty much your extra security. Look, I'm not saying you should only count on credit cards for any emergencies. However, think about it like some extra measure to protect yourself, and since more than 90% of the stores and services pretty much take the credit cards, I personally cannot even imagine the situation when I wouldn't even have one credit card in my wallet. Also, and that goes without saying, you can actually earn the rewards. So assuming you're only buying the things you're supposed to, not anything extra of course, you're already spending that money anyway, so depending on the credit card, why not to get 1, 2, 3 or even sometimes 5% back? It seems like no-brainer to me. The funny thing with credit cards is that wealthy and rich people use them all the time, maybe besides Dave Ramsey, and they're benefiting from the credit cards, basically building their portfolio even more, but they never keep any balance on the credit cards. They use it responsibly, so they're getting all the financial benefit of the credit cards without paying the interest penalty. There is also some other scenarios, and that's cost of opportunity. Now obviously this could be more relatable if you have a business, because let's say for example you are a carpenter and one of your bigger customers makes a huge order, and maybe you don't have that cash flow yet, but you have the business credit card, so then you can buy these components to make the order, and that credit card in this situation would literally help you to progress in your business. The basic formula how to be really good with credit cards is: first, only buy what you wanted to buy in the first place, and don't buy anything extra just because you use the credit card, even if that was only $2 or $5 extra. Second thing is, you don't always have to pay the current balance on the card, but definitely you want to pay the statement balance in full. That way at least most credit cards cannot charge you any interest. Personally, I would also discourage you from transferring the balances between the cards, because when you do that, usually what happens is that now you think the card number 1 has no balance on it, or low balance, and you can start spending the money again, and that's obviously not the direction you want to go. Now in my opinion, cutting the credit cards is actually super silly. I would literally never do that, and I think learning good credit card habits can actually benefit you better financially. So okay, I think this is it for this video, but definitely check this video next. There is a lot of good info in it too. Thank you for watching.